was a remake of our series we did in 2016. And today is the final piece called Scaling Up. This is an evergreen piece for sure, an evergreen segment for sure. Top Dogs 2016 was watched over 1 million times. So Top Dogs 2022, hopefully we'll get the same kind of viewership over the next couple of years. Let's take a look.
Got it.
Do you know what the number one? We have a lot of stuff on Tasty that's been viewed over 1 million times. What do you think's been viewed over 1 million times? Do you know?
I do not.
Top Dogs, Mike Butler, and Mike and his whiteboard, and the Karen the Super Trader interviews.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good job out of you, Mike, my man.
Yeah, multiple millions of times. That's pretty cool. Listen, we're in a small niche marketplace.
Sure.
Week 1, we did core portfolio and product indifference. Week 2, we did capital efficiency and allocation. Week 3, we did cost basis reduction. Week 4, we did managing positions. And week 5, we are going to do scaling up. This is a make-believe $100,000 portfolio, which we don't usually use big numbers like that. We usually use smaller accounts and we usually use all indexes. So we decided to do this one to show how to put together a portfolio of $100,000 using about 50% of the capital. We've been averaging between $43,000 and $48,000 of capital at use. We've been maintaining these positions in a separate account so that we can, follow them and track them and do everything. And this is the original positions that these are the original underlyings that we started with: S&P's, NASDAQ, Russell, Chinese ETF, the Euro, oil, and Bitcoin. We selected these because I wanted to. So the whole thing with building a portfolio is you have to have some opinions on certain things. The S&Ps I was a little bullish on. We've gone down. The NASDAQ I was bearish on. We've gone down. The Russell we've been neutral on. We've gone sideways. That's fine. China ETF we've been bullish on. It's gone down a little bit. Euro we've been bullish on. It's gone down a lot. Oil we've been bearish on. It has gone down as well. And Bitcoin we've been bullish. It's gone down, but it's pretty much a if I was to say there was one product that was pretty much a non-factor, it would be the short puts in Bitcoin. Let's go to the next. Oh, and then there's the number of contracts in the middle. So the current portfolio, after we made our adjustments as of 9/6, which was yesterday. Okay, even though we haven't rolled it, we didn't put any new trades yesterday, but this is as of yesterday when we wrote this segment. Was in the S&Ps, we are short the 393 puts. In the NASDAQ, we're short the 334 calls. Those have both worked out nicely. In the Russell, we are short the strangle, the 168, 210. All three of those positions have worked out nicely. In China, we have a covered call on at the 31 strike. So far, no bueno. In the US dollar, we have sold the Euro strangle. We're short the 102 calls and the we're short the 101 puts and the 102 calls. So far, that has not worked out. In XOP, we are currently short the 134, 148 strangle. We need to adjust those puts down today, which we normally would. And in Bitcoin, we are short the 13 puts in BITO. Tony, where is BITO? I actually don't know.
BITO, I'll get it for you right now.
I haven't looked in a while.
$11.55, down 8 cents.
That has not worked either then. We're down a little bit of money in BITO. I can't believe that stock is $11. Let's go to the next slide. This is what the market's done since we've done this 5-week thing, just to show you. We originally put these positions on. We were tiny bullish, but it wasn't much. Week 1, market was up 4.5%. Week 2, 3, 4, and for a total of down 5.2%. We were pretty flat through most of this. We were tiny short a little bit of deltas. And the VIX throughout this process is actually up 6.8%, which is significant because we are short the VIX. Meanwhile, the P&L is pretty much, I would say it's unchanged, up a little, down a little. It's insignificant at this point. We've done a good job of managing the positions and controlling our risk. When the market does what you don't want it to do and volatility does what you don't want it to do, your job is to do damage control. It's better, 100 times better than being long a portfolio of stocks. I promise you that. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next slide. The challenge this week was to figure out how to put more capital to use. So we started with $100,000. Like I said, we used about between 48 and 43,000 the entire time for the first 4 weeks. I challenged the research team to double the capital we were using, because the concept here is, what if you had a bigger account, like 200,000, you wanted to scale it up? So before, these are our beta weighted deltas, and these are from where we started after adjustments on 8:30, and you can see on 9/6, which was yesterday, our beta weighted deltas are plus 62, everything included. It's relatively small. It's only 62 shares of spiders, but they are a little bit long. We started down 136, then down 60, up 28, up 62. The reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to understand that if you manage a pretty significant size portfolio, which is using, the equivalent of, let's call it, $40,000 or $50,000 worth of stock, your notional market exposure, you're actually 62 deltas is only $24,000 worth of real market exposure. So the positions, the way we're doing them here are offsetting each other. They're non-correlated. They're offsetting. This is a classic actively managed portfolio. Doesn't mean we have to be right. Just means this is a class of actively managed portfolio. Our neutral strategies, SPYs, Qs, and IWM, have done better than our directional strategies, FXI, 6E, XOP, and BITO. The only one we've been right on is crude oil, and the other three we've been wrong on, okay, which is very typical, 50-50, 3-1, 1-3, that kind of stuff. Let's go to the next slide. Our non-directional plays have worked out much better. Next slide. So in the world of scaling up, how do you scale up, Tony? We talked about this morning. You increase the number of contracts, you add different underlyings, you increase the number of strategies, you widen the strikes, you do everything. Existing positions on the left, okay? New positions on the right. What we have determined here is that we needed to do a combination. In order to scale up, we needed to do a combination of both. So SPYs, Q, and IWM, what we did was we added to our position, all right? Or we changed, or we changed the strikes. So in the SPYs, we were short one put, now we're short two puts. We added one of the 377 puts. In the Qs, we were short two calls. Now we're short four calls. I'm pretty sure that's how they're doing here. But let me just check for a second.
But you still have the 334s on?
I believe so. Hold on one second.
Saznoff, that's just me taking a little bit of euro profit, Saznoff. That's correct. On my putties that you made fun of me. Did my wife let me sell those puts? That kind of thing. Remember yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm just taking a little over $100 on them in a day. It's called scalping euro futures options, Saznoff.
Yeah, my euro position is doing good today.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to check on that. I don't know if we just changed the strikes. We may have just changed the strikes. Let me. You know what? Can you?
This is why I can't let you do anything by yourself.
No, I'm just not sure. Can you check with Kai for me for a second? TLT, this is a new position. We added bonds. So we put 4 strangles on. NVIDIA, we put 3 short puts on. FSLR, we put 3 short calls on. EWZ, we put 7 short calls on. And JP Morgan, we put 3 strangles on. Now, the reason for this was to add new positions, add new contracts, add non-correlated stuff. Okay? So we added a grand total of 8 new positions to scale up, to combine with our existing positions. If you noticed, we added some to existing positions, and we added 5 new positions that are non-correlated to each other. The whole purpose here was, okay, we're going to put a little long delta on, we're going to put a little short delta on, we're going to put a little neutral delta on, and we are going to just randomly add to our positions by adding new underlyings and a little bit more risk to get new capital to use. Let's go next slide.
In SPY, you added new positions on top of the existing one.
Okay, that was a new position. Good, got it. Okay, that's what I thought originally. So after adding 5 new underlyings and then adding to 3 existing positions by adding more contracts, so we mixed it up. The new portfolio uses $40,000 more capital. So now we're at a total of $84,300. So the old portfolio was at $43,000 for the last couple of weeks. And the new portfolio is at $84,300 because we added $40,400. Now you're going to say, well, that was, you did it by adding a few contracts to your existing delta neutral positions, and you did it by adding new positions to your overall portfolio. Sure. Is that the best way to do it? And I would argue that that's how we do it. Based on our research, it's probably the most consistent way to do it without increasing your overall portfolio volatility. There's lots of ways to put new capital to use. But, like, for example, you could just put a couple positions on an SPX and I could easily get to $40,000, 1 or 2 positions. But the way we did it is to reduce overall portfolio volatility and keep it at minimal levels. Let's go to the next slide. So the new positions carry a negative beta weighted delta, which reduces our portfolio delta to plus 45. If you remember on the slide before, we were plus 63. So we've only changed our whole portfolio delta by 18 deltas, which is absolutely nothing. It's 18 shares of stock. The portfolio correlation stayed exactly the same. Now, people ask, how do we figure out that correlation? Well, we do it on a one-off basis right now because we do on the software is we have correlation to the S&Ps on each individual stock built into the software. So you can go into the software and you can do it one by one. Eventually, we'll have it built into the Tastyworks technology where it will tell you what your beta weighted, what your correlation to the S&Ps is on your overall portfolio. That's a feature that we've been dying to add. It's a lot more complex than we originally thought. But beta weighted deltas completely in line, plus 45, which will be working out perfect today because the S&Ps are up 15. And the correlation is 0.35, which we consider to be very minimal. So all of those work. So what we've done here is we've added positions, new underlyings. We've added new strategies, both short calls, short puts, and short strangles. We've added to our existing non-directional positions by increasing the number of contracts. We've doubled the amount of capital we have at use. We've kept our correlation the same, and we've lowered our delta.
I like it.
That's the easiest way to reduce portfolio risk, and at the same time, reduce portfolio risk, but at the same time, not increase our portfolio volatility at all, and not potentially put us in a position where we have any one outlier can hurt us.
I like it. Good
Let's
job.
go to the next slide. I believe it's the last slide.
Yep.
Okay, and so the final kicker here is these new positions bring in additional $7,900 in monthly premium. That's a 52% increase from the original portfolio. And now what we're looking at is the old portfolio had about $15,000 in premium. The new portfolio has about $22,000 in total extrinsic. What we're hoping to do is to keep, like we said, about a quarter of that over the course of the next month. That's our game plan, which could be, let's call it $5,000 to $6,000 in that range.
That's your reasonable expectation. Now that 25% number of that EXT number that you see on the top of Tastyworks is not a month by month thing. So I mean, you don't always make 25% of your EXT number. That's just your expectation. That's your goal.
Yeah, and we're hoping that not only that, we're hoping that some of the positions actually go our way. Right. Like there's a rally in the euro, or there's a rally in Bitcoin. There's things can happen our way too, and volatility can crap out like it's doing today, and things can go our way. But if in a perfect world, just on the amount of premium, if we took in, between $5,000 and $6,000, and you assume that this portfolio, because it's scaled up, is a $200,000 portfolio, not a $100,000 portfolio, you're focusing on a 2 to 3% or 2.5%, monthly straight line monthly return, which, is what you need to make between, let's say, 1.5% and 3.5% to justify the risk that you're taking in a portfolio that has, that's not a risk-free portfolio. So risk-free returns paying, let's say, 3% right now, annualized. If you're going for active trading returns, you'd probably want to be anywhere from 5 times to 10 times that return. So you want to be in the neighborhood of, 1.5 to 3.5%, or 1.5 to 3%, and this puts you right in that category. I just think it's important to bring all these little pieces into it.
I love it. Good job out of you. And Jacob, people are sending me emails here. Burning Man had something like 8 to 12 hour traffic delays. You might not see him until mid-September.
No. We sent the helicopter for him.
He's protect the head. We'll take a quick 90-second break and come back. We got more Taste Trade coming at you right after this with joy, Mr. Scott Sheridan coming up next. It's Taste Trade Live.
He's in full headgear.